Hey Tankers, Bonsai Duck here. Welcome to the inaugural, the first, the number one, in my humble opinion. I decided to do this year, or start this series, because I don't give you guys a lot of my opinions on things. And contrary to what you may or may not believe, I'm a fairly opinionated son of a bitch. Uh, I have a lot of opinions on a lot of things, and I try not to let that out there because I didn't want to offend anybody, but and I don't want to offend you with my opinions on things of World of Tanks. And if by any stretch of the imagination you and I disagree on something, please feel free to give me your opinion. I value everybody's opinions, and I will defend to the death your right to have one, even though I may not agree with it. And as long as we can be civil and agree to disagree at the end, or maybe agree to agree, and maybe you've changed my opinion on something, then by all means, let's go for it. But that's what this is at. Wargaming is a company. They're going to do things. I'm going to give you my opinions. And, if you have any thoughts on what you want to know, basically, want my opinion on something, or maybe something that that I could look into, by all means, let me know. And so from that, we'll move forward. So the first one, 2020 Holiday Ops. All right. How did y'all like it? My personal opinion is, in some areas it was good. In some areas it seemed harder. There are some things I think World of Tanks did much better than previous years. And there's some things that I think they're showing signs of where they're going to go towards in the future, and being a little less giving. All right. Now, they are a business, and I fully understand that. And as a business, you don't want to just give away everything, right? But at the same point, if there's, let's say, I'm not sure, what do we have on the server right now? Let's take a look. If there's 18,000 players on the U.S. server right now, on the North American server right now, right? And you can take that number and say that's a small portion as compared to what's on all three of the EU servers, plus then you got the RU servers, plus the Asian servers, and I'm not even going to count the South American server. Once it's all said and done, they've got quite a group of players. Now, a lot of free-to-play players, I agree. Over here in North America, we probably do have a lot more disposable income. And given my age and my stature in life where I'm at right now, I have obviously a lot more disposable income than some of you. You all know my kids are grown, and it's just the wife, me, and the dog. And so, yeah, I have more disposable income that I can spend on a game. For all intents and purposes, this is a game. Is this the only game I play? No, but it's the only game I spend money on. That's what it is. But in 2020, they came out with the Holiday Ops, and I think they, like I said, they had some good things. So let's hit the highlights of the Holiday Ops, right? So you had the Snow Maidens, which gave you the 5 times missions, right? So that was good. Because you got 5 times on tanks on missions you could play, and that increasing their the amount of times you went and got their presents gave you the ability to get to level 5. All right, which was good. Or you could use shards to increase that, right? So there were multiple ways to try to increase each level. The same thing with Chuck, right? You could play each mission with Chuck, and obviously I did not complete all the missions, nor will I be able to complete all the missions for Chuck. I did get Chuck, all right, but I wasn't able to complete all the missions. But you could use shards to make missions simpler, which a lot of tankers use to help complete the Chuck missions. I just played, and I think I went back through just yesterday, which would have been Saturday the 9th, and had a couple missions that were just right there, and I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of time to play this weekend because of other things going on. So I went and I used some shards and was able to get past those missions by reducing them, which was nice. So let's say you needed 3 kills or destroy 3 tanks, and you only destroyed 2. You could use 500 shards to drop it down to destroy 1. Boom, you completed the mission. Bam, there you go. And I was at 24, and I got to 27 and got Chuck. And I decided, okay, I'm happy. I got Chuck. All right. But The other nice thing about the Chuck missions is that they were cumulative, or maybe I'm using that word wrong, and I probably am. So forgive me. But if you didn't play one day, you didn't lose that mission. You were able to move on to the next mission while you were completing that mission. So you were able to complete multiple missions at a time, given how often you played. And I look at myself as, if I play every day for a week, there's an event going on like Frontlines or something like that, because I don't. I might play on a Tuesday or Wednesday or a Thursday, sometimes on a Friday. Very rarely do I play on Saturday or Sunday, at least in the evenings. If I do, it's in the afternoon. So, I mean, I don't play every day, and I haven't played this game all week right now, right? So, it's, for somebody like me who doesn't play a lot, it's very helpful to be able to go back and complete missions that happened on other days. And I shout out to Wargaming for doing that, because I think that is one of the best things. Had this Chuck thing not been that way, it would have pissed me off, to be honest with you. It pissed me off during the 10-year anniversary, when if you missed a day of play, you couldn't go back and complete that mission to get the freaking keys, right? So that infuriated me. So anyway, that, shout out to you. I appreciate that. But yeah, the Snow Maidens for the 5 times, plus, working your way up to 50%. You had the Chuck missions, which gave you tons of small boxes. And, you had less things you needed to collect than you did last year. There was 380 for 2019 to 2020. There's only 372 for this year. Although there was more level 5s, I believe, this year than there was last year. And most of those level 5s, and I may be wrong, and I could go back and look, but I'm just going to say it. I believe that level 5 last year, you might have had 2 in the same category, all right? Whereas this year, most of them were 3. So you had the ability of using the decoder and end up with getting the same one multiple times, which I did when I was trying to complete. So, less shards, but a little more difficult to complete all the shards. My method for completing the collections was, obviously I played, the game as much as I could, getting as many small boxes as I could, and crushing shards, and just, I kind of waited until towards the end, about the middle of the thing, of the whole event, probably just after Christmas, before I really started paying attention to the collections and saying, okay, well, where do I need to be to get my atmosphere up, stuff like that. I focused on my atmosphere, to be honest with you, getting the square all good and done. And getting, the tree and all the little things done. I focused on that. And then I just kept playing and collecting shards and stuff like that. And then I started focusing on the collections. I really missed the boat on the Snow Maidens, to be honest with you. I just didn't pay attention that, I could have 50% of them way sooner than I did. But that's my bad. I think there was a lot of things going on that made it difficult to, at least for me, who didn't play every day, and to really follow. Okay, so that said, got quite a few small boxes for missions, and I ended up being gifted some large boxes. And shout out to you, Mad Dog, Night Dog, and Middle Aged Noob. Thank you very much. And then I went out and purchased my own. And I was trying to keep track of what I did in 2019 compared to what I did in 2020 so that I could compare them. So I'm going to bring that up, and we'll see where that's at. So here it is. In 2019, I spent a total of my money, $299.97, which, gave me basically 3 sets of 75. Out of the 236 boxes that I got that whole year. And at the end of the year, I walked away with 198,000, 150 gold, 169 days of premium, and 11 million credits, 11.7 million credits. I got all 7 of the tanks and 6 of the skins, which I believe is everything that was there. And so also, obviously, I was able to get some duplicates because I got 27 garage slots. So you take 7 of that, there were 20. There were some duplicates there, right? So in 2020, how'd I do? Well, I bought 200. I had a total of 243 boxes, right? Out of that, I spent $319.95. Now that's basically what I did is I bought 75 of two of the versions, and we can kind of take a look at that. I don't have any problem with that. And I bought 25 sets of the Christmas, New Year's. Lunar was a 75 set. Magic was a 75 set. And then, of course, I had some gifts from Night Dog, Middle Age, and Mad Dog, right? And then I bought 25 set of the Christmas again. And the reason I did that is because at the time when I was doing this, I was down. I'd completed all the level 5s using my deduplicators, my non-deduplicates, little rewards, and all the shards. And I got down to Christmas, and I couldn't complete everything, right? And I had a lot of level 5s I had to get. Well, we all know that you have to buy big boxes to get level 5s, or upgrade the Snow Maidens, which I missed, so that they gave you level 5s, right? So I ended up going back out and buying 25 Christmas boxes, right? And doing that, which gave me what I needed. Which before then I was at 200. I'm not going to do the math. 25. I mean, it was a 230 some boxes. So I was close to where I was at in 2019, right? But in 2020, I got 113,450 in gold. So less gold this year. I did get more premium time, 201 days. All right, and I got more credits, 17 million credits. That's a total for all of them. I got all 6 tanks. I got 5 tanks. Skins, and I got 30 garage slots, which means that out of those 6 tanks, if I take that out, that's 24. I had 24 rerolls. Now, a lot of those rerolls were the smaller tanks, right? So if we just kind of take a look at what was going on here, we can kind of see. So a lot of the rerolls were just, and I would mark when I got the gold form. So my first set of boxes, bam, 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 bam. I mean, I got all the tanks right off the get-go. And then we started getting the re-rolls, right? So, and they were all pretty much the 900s. There were a couple, the ISU 152K and the Matilda, but pretty much the Locust and the PZT-15, which... And why I'm saying that is that leads to why there was less gold this year than there was last year. Because last year, the tanks that you got re-rolled on were mainly the Tier 8 premium tank that they were giving away. I don't think I, for one, at any given time, other than the ISU 152K, hit a re-roll of the GSOR or a re-roll of the C45. And that 152, I think that was a fluke. It was constantly the Lukes and the PZT-15, a couple Matildas, stuff like that. So I think they... now, is that controlled by Wargaming? I don't know. You can say it's a random number generator, but even a random number generator that is built by a human being cannot be truly a random number because you have to have some code that there's always going to be some control mechanism in there, right? I'm not saying that they did. I'm just saying that it just, if you look at the numbers, you can say, okay, they get a lot more premium to me this year, a lot more coin to me this year, all right? And, not as much gold, even though I'd spent more money and bought more boxes. All right. So, I mean, I think that's a fair comparison, right? Out of the whole holiday ops thing, I got 333 small boxes, which out of that, I got 1.8 million in credits, 19 crew books, 57 directives, 7 garage slots, 45 manual fire extinguishers, 5 automatic fire extinguishers, 28 small repair kits, 16 large repair kits, almost a ton, 34 small first aid kits, and 13 large first aid kits, which I use the large first aid and large repair. The smaller ones I'll sell. So, I mean, you figure what are those, are 10,000 a piece. So there's some change. The fire extinguishers I don't use, so I'll sell those. So, in all honesty, and I didn't keep track of small boxes in 2019. That was my bad. So I really have nothing to compare it to. But there was a ton, and I think, I think I got a lot out of it. So, in my humble opinion, was Holiday Ops worth it. Yeah, I think it was. I'm not sold on the 152K. I just don't play casemate TDs real well, but I'll try to give you a review on that. I'll try to play it more. I think the GSOR is a great TD. Look for that review to be coming. The C45, I'm enjoying that as the Italian heavy. So in fact, I'm building the review for that here. So that'll be coming on the next couple of days. And as far as the amount of gold and coin, okay, maybe a little light on the gold this year. But I think that's because if we look back on 2020, we can see where a lot of things that Wargaming was doing was involving you to spend gold to get that economy back under control. I think that economy got away from them with the past years of the Christmas loot boxes, to be honest with you. So they needed to get that back under control because you had a bunch of people that were sitting on a ton of gold and they didn't have to do anything. Right? I mean, they didn't have to come out and buy it, and let's be honest, that's a moneymaker for wargaming because you can use gold to get premium tanks, you can use gold to do your crews. I mean, there's things that you use the gold economy for, and there was people sitting on a ton of it. It didn't stop them from reducing the amount of boxes they gave their community contributors. I mean, that seemed to be the same amount of thing. And, so I guess it's okay that they sit on a ton of gold. I don't know. But it did on the standard user side, it reduced the amount. Now, was it a ton that they reduced it by? No, it wasn't. But I had a lot more 250s in a day of premium, 250 in a day of premium. I had a lot of those. And I think, less tanks reappearing. And so I think they controlled that aspect. The days of premium, that is a moneymaker for wargaming, but the amount of money they give versus the cost of what that gives you, I think it doesn't make it as cost effective or as lucrative as maybe the gold does. So they can be a little more liberal with that. And then the coinage, I mean, that's you really should never have to go to the premium shop and buy coin. You just shouldn't have to do it. All right, if you're sitting on a ton of gold, exchange some gold for some or something. If you or play your premiums for God's sakes and lay off the APCR or the gold rounds, okay? So you really shouldn't. Whenever I'm low on coin, I just play my premium tanks and build it back up. So I don't think that's a big, a huge financial stake. I think the gold based on the past 2 years with the amount of gold that they gave away, I think they flooded that economy and they needed to get it back under control. So I would look forward to them having more things that you can do with gold this year, just to kind of still get that economy back under control. Otherwise, I think the missions weren't outrageous. They were fairly straightforward, easy to do. The tanks that we got, I like I said, I can't complain about them. I'm just not a big fan of the ISU 152K. The FL10, ravioli hybrid, that's not a bad little tank. It'll take some time getting used to. I didn't play anything lower than that, so I won't speak to them. The rewards, pretty much the same thing. Got my crew, got my Chuck. Granted, I won't get a discount on a tier 10 just simply because I didn't play as often as I had planned on. Was unable to complete all the Chuck missions, so it's just not going to happen. But I guess in my scale of 1 to 10, I would say I'll give it a 9 compared to everything else that they've done this year. All right. I will give it a 8 compared to last year, just simply because of the gold difference. And I'm not saying that last year was a 10. I would say last year was probably easily an 8 or a 9. And I'll say that, compared to last year, this one, it ranks right about there. It's neither worse nor better, but it is better than the 10th anniversary. It is better than the Halloween event. And outside of Frontlines, any of the other campaigns that they had going, I think it is better. They did a lot of things right, and they did some things where I can understand why they're doing it. You know, the gold differences and stuff like that. So, anyway, that's my humble opinion on holiday ops. You can agree to disagree. That's fine. It's an open world, or where we all have opinions, and you know the saying that goes with that. I'd like to hear yours. So, anyway, talk to you later. This is Bonsai Duck out.